I feel like no matter how many times I watch this, I just can't get over the fact that that's Hal from Malcolm in the Middle. Season 1 of Breaking Bad. So Breaking Bad is a show about a high school chemistry teacher named Walter White, who's played by Bryan Cranston. In this show, as Walter White, he is a man who is diagnosed with inoperable lung cancer, and so he decides that in order to provide for his family's future, he's going to partner up with an ex-student of his and create the best crystal meth in town and sell it, make some money, and then leave that money for his family. The first season is only a few episodes long. When you start watching it, you actually get into it really quickly. Right off the bat, the first episode has a lot of information and a lot going on that by the end of it, you want to keep watching. Because this is a pilot season and it's so short, it almost feels like it ends very abruptly. A lot of the stories did not really complete itself for it being a first season. A lot of that does have to do with the fact that this season was written throughout that writer's strike that was happening in Hollywood a few years ago. Despite all that, the season is still really great. It delivers on a lot of character building, it delivers on a lot of suspense, and really, despite it being only a few episodes, you really connect into the characters right off the bat. The shortened season does make it feel like there's more to the story. Despite that it's so short, there's still so much information that you're learning episode by episode. You feel that you've learned so much information by the time that the first season ends. Walter White, you see him as honestly kind of a loser. He has a ridiculous haircut. He's working as a chemistry teacher at a high school, which in and itself is not a bad job. The reality, though, is that it just doesn't pay for what he needs, his family to support, and his brand new baby that's coming on the way. Once the news strikes that he has that lung cancer, it just dawns on him that he's going to have to do something to be able to provide for his family. So this is a show that I've already watched before, so it was fun to kind of go season by season and just give my thoughts on this show. What's great about watching it over again is that you really pick up on a lot of the small details that are going to pay off later on. And for those of you that have never watched it before, it's great to really try and pay attention to as much as you can in episode by episode, because it's giving you so much information. If you can pick up on a few small of the details, it's going to be such a great payoff for you as well. For me, one of the best parts is when he collapses on the floor when he's working one of his second jobs, and Walter discovers that he has the lung cancer. Because with the rewatch, for me, in my opinion, when he collapsed down to the ground, that's when Walter White, the teacher you had learned about, effectively dies. Because at this point, Heisenberg, which is going to be his new persona, is when he is honestly born. It's almost as if it just clicks in his head that my life is over. Everything I've done up until this point is going to be worthless if I don't do something now to really leave a mark for myself. And that's kind of the feeling that I get, that is kind of his self-realization. And so that's why he ultimately decides to go this path. The main side character that you're introduced to is Jesse Pinkman, who's played by Aaron Paul. He is the most stereotypical white guy gangster that a show I feel has ever produced. Walter's wife, the rest of his family are also some side characters that you learn about them a little bit. Mostly the wife and Hank, who's his brother-in-law and is an actual DE agent, which kind of complicates the relationship of him having to become a drug dealer. Overall, with the season, as you watch it back to back, towards the end you almost feel like you're left wanting more, because it just cuts kind of abruptly and there's not too many resolutions to everything that's been going on for this whole season. The show feels very much like it was just created by someone to kind of just pitch it to a TV network to say, this is the kind of idea that I want to do. Here's 6, 7 small episodes that you could watch. Let me know what you think, and I'd like to continue with this show. So it very much gives you that feeling. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad thing. The show is great for its first season. It really introduces a lot, and it gets you hooked that, again, you can just jump right into season 2. Overall, I would recommend the watching and binging of this show, because it's really easy to get into at first. You won't be disappointed. Just get through the first season, and again, I guarantee you that you'll want to jump right into season 2. And those of you that have watched it already, it's nice to revisit it back and pick up on those small details that they really hint at right at the beginning, and it's so satisfying to kind of just pick up on that. So let me know what you guys think on the first season of Breaking Bad. Just give me a comment on your first initial thoughts when you first watched it, or if you're watching it for the first time, just what you thought of the first season. Hit that like button and then just subscribe if you'd like to see any more of my binge watching videos, and I'll see you next time.